I was in the lot behind the precinct, eating a gas station sandwich, and I was at the end of a double shift that had started at 7 a.m. And then the radio opened up, and the dispatch came in. Not a dispatch summary, not a relay. Dispatch was patching their live call through. Something they do when the caller is still on the line. And this situation reads as active, and for about 30 seconds before they broke in with the address, we heard a woman by the name of Claire Monroe. I put the sandwich down. She was whispering.
Please, I need someone at my house. Please, there's someone inside. I don't know how they got in. I locked everything. I always lock everything.
She said. A dispatcher's voice, calm and even. Ma'am, I need you to stay on the line with me. Can you tell me your address?
41114 Ashburn Road. Please hurry. I'm in the bathroom. I locked the door.
You're in the bathroom? Okay, are you injured? They said.
No, not yet.
She said. Those two words landed in the lot like something dropped from a height. Not yet. Said without drama, without performance. Just a factual assessment of her current condition, delivered by a woman who was doing the math on how long that condition might hold. We made it to the house in 9 minutes. The place was a ranch-style house at the end of a cul-de-sac. Beige siding, attached garage, a motion sensor porch light that clicked on when we pulled into the driveway. I noted that specifically. The sensor worked. A garden hose coiled neatly against the front steps like someone had taken the time to do it right. A maroon Honda Civic in the driveway. Everything looked like somebody's Tuesday. I knocked and announced myself. Debbie went around the back. I tried the front door. Unlocked, surprisingly. Police were coming in, I said. We cleared the house in about 4 minutes. Living room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The bathroom the caller has specifically mentioned, in a small laundry room that shared a wall with the garage. We checked every closet. Under both beds, I pulled back the shower curtain in the bathroom and found a bar of soap and a bottle of conditioner. Nothing. Nothing. The house was furnished and lived in. Food in the refrigerator, framed photos on the wall in the hallway. A woman, maybe late 30s, brown hair, photographed at various occasions. A birthday dinner with other women her age. A lake vacation. One of those posed Christmas card photos with a golden retriever that wasn't in the house anymore. The woman in the photos looked comfortable, like someone who had built a life in small increments and was quietly satisfied with it. But she wasn't in the house. Debbie came in through the back. Garage is empty, no second vehicle. Motion sensor on the rear interior is busted. Fixtures cracked, been out for a while by the look of it, she said. Yeah, well, the front works, I said. Yeah, she said. She stood in the kitchen doorway and looked around. Nothing out of place. A mug of tea on the counter, half drunk. I put my hand near it without touching it. Gone cold. She left in a hurry, Debbie said. Or she never made the call from here at all. I stood in the bathroom doorway on my way out. The room smelled faintly of shampoo, floral, something light. The kind of smell that means someone was in that room recently. An hour ago, maybe less. I wrote it up as no contact, possible misdial or prank, and we left about 12:30 a.m. I didn't think about the warm tea until later. It was cold by the time I felt it. But the mug was in the center of the counter, not pushed to the side, not sitting in a ring of dried overflow. Someone had set it down carefully, intentionally, and recently. People who leave in a hurry don't set their tea down carefully. The second call came in at about 2:18 a.m. Same number, same address. I was at my desk finishing the first report when it came over the system, and I stopped typing before she finished her second sentence. The voice was identical, same cadence, same fractured breathing, same moment where she dropped her almost a whisper mid-sentence like she was afraid of being heard.
Please, there's someone in my house. I'm in the bathroom. I locked the door. Please send someone right now. They're right outside.
Then the line went dead. Open and breathing and utterly silent, like she simply ceased. I looked across the bullpen at Sergeant Mercer. He had the same expression I imagined I had. He didn't say anything. He just pointed at the door. Me and Debbie made it back to the house at around 2:29 a.m. The porch light came on when we pulled up, same as before. The Civic still in the driveway. The garden hose still coiled against the steps. The front door is still unlocked, everything exactly as we left it. The mug of tea in the same position on the counter. The shower curtain still pulled back from where I checked it behind it 2 hours ago. The framed photos undisturbed on the wall. I had this feeling standing in that kitchen, quiet and unpleasant. The kind you don't share with your partner because there is no professional language for it. That the house hadn't registered we left. That it had been holding its breath since 12:30 a.m., waiting for us to come back. Debbie started down the hallway, towards the bedrooms. I went towards the bathroom. I was halfway down the hall when I heard something. I stopped walking. It was coming from behind the bedroom door to my left. Not loud, not dramatic, just present. A sound with no business being inside of an empty house. Slow and irregular, like something that had been very still for a long time and was deciding whether or not to move. I put my hand on my holster. "Police," I said. "If someone's in there, call out now," I said. Silence. I pushed the door open. The bed, dresser, closet, window, everything was undisturbed. I checked the closet, checked under the bed. There was nothing. I sat in the center of the room and listened. There was still nothing. I stepped back into the hallway and pulled the door mostly closed, and the sound started again. Like it had been waiting for me to turn my back. The same slow shifting, closer to the door now. I pushed it open again. The room was empty. Debbie appeared at the end of the hallway. She heard it again. I could tell by the way she was standing. "Bedroom?" she said quietly. "Yeah," I said. "I had it in the second bedroom. Stopped when I went in. I just heard something." We looked at each other. "Maybe it's just an old house," she said. "Pipe settling?" "Yeah, okay," I said. Neither one of us believed it. We finished the sweep, every room empty. No sign of Claire Monroe. No sign of anyone. I ran her name properly this time. Nurse at Mercy General. No priors, no history with dispatch. A colleague confirmed she left work around 7:12 p.m., 14 hours ago. Nobody had heard from her since. I was about to call it in when Debbie said my name from the bathroom. Her voice was flat in a way that made me move fast. She was standing in the doorway looking at the mirror above the sink. I came up behind her and looked over her shoulder. In the lower right corner of the glass, in careful small letters written in what looked like eyeliner pencil, "I'm still here." I photographed it, bagged the eyeliner pencil from the sink ledge, logged it as evidence of recent occupant presence, and wrote up the sounds in the bedrooms as possible structural origin undetermined. I sat in the car before starting the engine and thought about those sounds in the bedroom. I started the car and drove back to the precinct to finish up the report. And I didn't sleep, and by morning Claire was officially a missing person, and her face was in the system, and I had the feeling, quiet and persistent, the kind that takes up the residence and doesn't leave, that the photograph we submitted was going to be the thing that found her. The third call came 48 hours after the second. By then, I stopped pretending this was a misdial or a prank gone long. Claire had been officially missing 31 hours. Her photo was in the system. Her colleagues at Mercy Hospital had been interviewed twice. Her phone, the one that these calls kept coming from, had been recovered from the Civic Center console that morning, screen cracked along the lower ledge. It had no business making calls. I was at my desk when dispatch flagged the third one and patched it through live. And before the script could even start, I picked it up. "Claire, this is Officer Rains. We've been to your house 2 times now. Twice on the night that you first called. And we cleared every room both times. There is no one there, and there has never been anyone there. I need you to tell me what's actually going on, because right now I don't know what I'm seeing." Silence. Not the ambient open quality of the first 2 calls. A different kind of quiet. Someone being addressed directly for the first time and not expecting it. And then her voice.
"You went in twice?"
she asked. "Yes. 11:47 and again at 2:18. Nobody was there either time," I said. A pause. And in it, I could hear her doing something with that information. Turning it over.
"No, that's not possible. I called you from the bathroom. I was on the floor by the tub. I didn't leave."
"Then where did you go, Claire? We searched every room. Closets, Under both beds, the shower, there was nobody in that house, I said.
I didn't go anywhere.
Her voice cracked slightly.
I was there. I know I was there.
Okay, I think you're playing games. I need you to help me understand the gap. Is someone with you right now? I asked.
No.
Has anyone ever been with you tonight or any of the other times? I asked.
Look, I don't think I'm explaining this right, so I keep trying to start over and it keeps coming out wrong.
She said. Take your time. I replied.
There isn't time,
She said, and something underneath the words tightened.
That's the whole problem. I don't have as much time as I think I do.
I leaned forward. What does that mean?
Listen to me. I need you to listen very carefully because I don't know how long I get to talk like this.
Her voice steadied into something almost clinical.
I am not pretending to be missing. I am not playing a game with your department. Something happened to me in that house. I haven't been able to leave it. Not the way you're thinking. Every time someone comes to look for me, they don't let me.
The line cracked, not static interference, sharp, eating 2 or 3 words whole.
Because by the time you're stating, I'm already.
Another crack. Worse. Claire, you're breaking up.
I know.
Fast now, urgent.
Listen, the next time you go, don't split up. Stay together, all of you, the whole time. Don't let anyone down the hall alone. Don't let anyone go outside alone. Don't.
The line cut to silence. I said her name twice, but nothing came back. And then a single flat tone, the sound of a call ending on its own. I set the receiver down. Mercer had been standing at the edge of my desk the whole time. Get the others, I said. We're going back tonight, all of us together. Mercer sent 4 of us. Me and Deb, Briggs, 12 years on, and unshakable by reputation. And then Alex, 14 months in, doing a decent job of looking more uncertain than he was. I told them in the car what Claire had said. Stay together, don't split up, don't let anyone go down the hall alone. Don't let anyone go outside alone. Briggs gave me a look that said he didn't love taking tactical advice from a missing person's phone call, but he didn't argue. We pulled up at 9:34 p.m. Porch light on, Civic in the driveway. Garden hose coiled neat against the steps, same as it has always reset itself between visits. The front door was open, 4 inches, maybe 5. A thin strip of dark visible along the frame. I pushed it along the rest of the way, and the smell hit us in the entryway. Not decay, something older than that. Something much older. Dense and close, like a space that had been violently used. The living room had been taken apart. The indifferent destruction of someone looking for something specific. This was different. The couch cushions were on the floor, but placed there, arranged in a loose semicircle facing the center of the room. The bookshelf had been cleared, every object removed and set on the floor. Not flattered, not scattered, but distributed. Books in small, uneven stacks. Framed photos lay flat. The television had been turned to face the wall. Nothing was broken. Nothing appeared to be missing. Every object that had been on that shelf was somewhere on that floor. Accounted for. Handled. Briggs said, tossed? And I said, no, because it wasn't. Tossed rooms have the energy of someone looking. This had the energy of someone conjugating. Going through a life piece by piece and laying it out to examine. The kitchen was the same. Every cabinet open, every drawer removed from its housing, and some on the counter with its contents still inside. The refrigerator open and humming. Every item from it lined up across the counter in a single row. Labels facing out. The mug of tea was on the counter. We cleared the house, all 4 of us, room by room, calling out each other before entry. Flashlights on every corner. Every room in the same condition as the living room. Methodically disordered, nothing damaged. Nothing missing that we could identify. In the second bedroom, the closet had been empty, and everything laid out in the bed. Clothes sorted by type and folded in precisely. The contents of storage boxes spread across the bedspread in careful groups. I sat in the room, and I looked at Claire's belongings, and I felt something I kept out of my report. We started to regroup in the hallway when Timothy said, "Hey." His voice had a quality I hadn't heard from him before. Not managed uncertainty, something more immediate. He was looking towards the back of the house. "There's someone outside," he said. There was a figure standing in the yard. Not at the tree line in the yard, between the back door and the fence, standing in the grass, completely still. I couldn't tell you if it was a man or a woman. The exterior light above the back door was still busted, and the figure existed at the edge of the ambient wash, coming through the hallway window, upright, human in proportion, facing the house, facing us. Not moving. I called out through the grass, announced, told it not to move. It didn't move. I hit the back door with Debbie behind me and came out into the yard with my flashlight on, and the yard was empty immediately. Completely empty. Not the pause before someone runs, not the rows of the fence being climbed. Empty the way a light goes out. I crossed to the fence in 4 strides and looked over. The alley beyond was clear in both directions. I swept the tree line with my flashlight. Trees and darkness and nothing that resolved into a person no matter how long I held the beam on it. Debbie turned a slow circle in the center of the yard. The grass where the figure had been standing was undisturbed. No impression. No weight had been there. We stood in the yard for a minute. The night gave nothing back. Inside, Timothy was standing at the hallway window where he had been when he spotted it. "Did you see if it was a man or a woman?" I asked him. "No, it was too dark. It didn't move the whole time I was watching it, not even to breathe." On the way out, I found the tally marks, gouged into the drywall in groups of 4, with a diagonal across each group. I stood in the hall with my flashlight moving over them and counted slowly. 63. 63 marks on the wall of a house that 5 officers had visited across 3 calls. I stood there and thought about that number and what it was counting, and came up empty, and wrote it in my notes and photographed it. We got in our cars and drove away, and I watched the street as we drove off, until the cul-de-sac bent out of sight. The porch light still on, the hose still stretched out across the lawn, and the house sitting there at the end of the street, looking exactly what it had always looked like from the outside. Like nothing was wrong. Like nothing had ever been wrong. The 4th call came in at about 1:33 a.m., 6 days after the 3rd visit. Mercer rang my phone directly instead of routing it through dispatch, which by now told me something about how far outside normal procedure this case had drifted. I picked up and he already passed the line through before I could say anything. It opened on static, more than the previous calls, a thicker, denser kind of interference, like the connection itself was straining to hold. And then it cleared. There was breathing. That was all. No words, no script, no name, just breathing. Slow and deliberate. Close enough to the receiver that I could hear the texture of it. The small catch at the top of each inhale. I couldn't tell you if it was a man or woman. I couldn't tell you if it was even human. Not with any confidence. Through every instinct, I screamed that it was, and that whoever it belonged to knew exactly how unsettling it was to be heard breathing and say nothing at all. "This is Officer Rains," I said. "Who is this?" The breathing continued, unhurried, almost patient. "Claire, is this you?" I said. No change, no acknowledgement that I had spoken at all. 11 seconds, and then the line went dead. No tone, no static tail, just gone. I sat with the phone in my hand for a moment before I called Mercer back. "We're going," I said. Mercer came himself. Him, me, and Briggs. Debbie had submitted her transfer 2 days after the 3rd visit and wasn't taking calls anymore. Alex had asked off the case entirely, and Mercer had let him go without an argument. We pulled up to the street at about 1:51 a.m. Everything still in place. The front door was unlocked, and within, we went in together, the way we had last time, nobody splitting off. The house had put itself back together. Everything from the disorder of visit 3, the cushions, the books, the photographs, was put back in its place, exactly the way it had been the very first night. I stood in the living room and had that same structural wrongness I couldn't fully name just yet. The sense that the house didn't experience the time between our visits the way we did. The mug of tea was on the counter. I didn't touch it. We moved through the rooms together. The kitchen, the hallway, both bedrooms, calling out before each doorway. Nothing answered. Nothing was there. We were standing in the hallway, regrouping, when Briggs said, "You hear that?" It was an answering machine, small and gray, old enough that none of us had seen one like it outside of a thrift store in years. It sat on the nightstand, the red message light blinking in the dim room, already mid-playback when we reached the doorway. A man's voice, older, warm at the edges but strained underneath it. The voice of someone who had left this message, and then sat with the silence afterward, not knowing if it will ever be heard.
Claire, it's me. I haven't heard from you in a few days, and I'm starting to worry. I know you're probably just busy with work, but call me back when you get this, okay? I just want to know that you're okay. I keep thinking about that last conversation we had, and I don't know, just something about it it's sitting wrong with me. Just call me back, please. I love you. Hope you're okay.
The message ended. The machine beeped once and went quiet, the red light stopping its blink. Nobody spoke for a moment. "Who is that?" Briggs said. I don't know, I said. "Nobody in her file, no husband, no boyfriend listed." "We'll trace the voice print." I wrote it down, worried about her before any of this started. Someone who knew her well enough to notice something was wrong in a conversation we had no record of. We kept moving. We were back in the hallway, finishing the sweep, when we heard something. A woman's voice from somewhere inside the house, close, with weight and breath behind it.
Help me!
I was moving before I decided to. First bedroom, flashlight on every corner. Empty. Other side of the house now. I crossed the hall and I hit the second bedroom. Briggs already in the doorway, weapon drawn, the room behind him empty. I got there and hit the light switch, and the curtain was open from where we checked it 20 minutes ago, and there was nobody there. Nobody anywhere. We cleared every space a person could occupy, and the voice kept coming from somewhere none of us could locate. And then the lights went out. All of them, together, the whole house dropping into total darkness in the same instant. "Flashlights," Mercer said, and I already had mine up and thumbed the switch. But there was nothing. It didn't come out. I thumbed it again. Nothing. I shook it, checked the battery seat with my thumb in the dark, thumbed it a third time. Dead. "Mine's not working either," Briggs said, and I could hear him doing the same thing I was, just shaking it, hitting the switch, getting nothing back. Mercer's voice came out from the dark, tighter than I heard it before. "Mine neither." 3 flashlights, all dead at once, in a house where the power had just failed. We stood there in the absolute black, nothing to see by, and then somewhere distant, down the hall, or beyond it, in some part of the house that didn't quite map to anything I could picture, there was some sort of laughter or something I couldn't really identify. It was low and unhurried at first. Like something was enjoying a private joke none of us were in on. "Tell me you heard that," Briggs said. "I heard it," I said. It was getting closer now. The source of it moving down from whatever hallway it occupied at an unhurried pace, like I knew exactly where we were standing and saw no reason to hurry toward us. I tried my flashlight again. It came on this time. The beam cut across the hallway, and there was nothing there. No source for the laughter. No shape retreating from the light. Nothing in my direction the beam reached. Briggs got his work in a half second later after mine and swept it the opposite way. Mercer's came on last. 3 beams, every angle of that hallway lit. Empty. The laughter had stopped the instant the first light came on, cutting off mid-breath like something had simply closed his mouth. Nobody said anything for a moment. We stood there with our lights up, breathing hard, listening to a silence that felt different from every other silence that house had given us. "We're done," Mercer said. "Let's get the hell out of here." Nobody argued. We left through the front door together, lights still up, not lowering them until we were back on the path, with the cold night air around us, and the porch light burning steady overhead like nothing at all happened inside. I sat in my car for a minute before I started the engine. My hands weren't quite steady, and I let myself acknowledge that, just once before I put them on the wheel. Briggs knocked on my window. I rolled it down. "The voicemail," he said. "Someone out there has been worried about her for longer than we have." He said. "Yeah," I said. "And whatever was in that hallway," he stopped himself, shook his head. I don't have a way to finish that sentence. Me neither. He went to his car. I watched the house in my mirror as I pulled away. Porch light steady. Everything ordinary from the outside, the way it always was. And I thought about that laughter getting closer in the dark and stopped the instant we could see again. Like it only existed in the spaces where we couldn't. The fifth call came in about 6:44 in the morning. Not dispatch this time. Mercer's personal cell to mine, which meant he had already been called and he made a decision about how this one was going to go before looping me in. I picked it up and he said, "Someone's inside the house. Calling it live. I'm patching it through." "Who is it?" "Not her," he said. The line clicked, and I was on for 2 seconds, and then I heard him. A man's voice. Middle-aged, the kind of voice that belonged to someone who was used to keeping himself composed under pressure and was currently working hard to maintain it. He was breathing fast but controlled. The breathing of someone who had been scared for a while and decided that showing it wasn't going to help.
"Hello? Is someone there? I called 911. They said they were transferring me. I need someone to answer me."
"This is Officer Rains, Meriden PD. Who am I speaking with?"
"My name is Thomas Garrity. I'm inside 4114 Ashburn Road. I came here looking for Claire Monroe. I know how that sounds. I know you've been here before. And I'm sorry, but I need you to listen to me because something is very wrong in this house, and I don't know what it is."
"Mr. Garrity, are you in any immediate danger right now?" I said. A pause. The sound of him looking around wherever he was.
"I don't know."
Which was more honest than most people would have been.
"I don't think so. Not right now. I'm in the kitchen. I came in through the back door. It was open. I've been through most of the rooms. There's something here. Something happened here. The smell is wrong. The whole place feels wrong. And I found in the hallway there's writing on the wall. Tally marks. I counted them, and I don't know what they mean."
"Miss Garrity, I need you to stay where you are. Do not move through the house. We're on our way. We'll be there about 10 minutes.
"I know about the 10 minutes. I've been timing your response patterns."
I paused. "Wait, you've been watching the house?"
"I've been investigating. Someone hired me to look into Claire Monroe's disappearance. I can't tell you who. I'm sorry. But I've been watching his address for the better part of 2 weeks. And tonight was the first time that back door was open. And I made a decision that I'm not entirely sure was the right one."
"Stay in the kitchen. Don't touch anything. We're coming."
Okay, yeah."
I could hear him settling. The scrape of a chair, the sound of him sitting down at the kitchen table, the slow, deliberate exhale of someone trying to get his breathing right. "Mr. Garrity, keep talking to me. Tell me about the person who hired you."
"I can't do that."
"Then tell me about Claire. Tell me about what you know about her."
"She's a nurse. Mercy General. She's been gone. What is it now, almost 3 weeks? Whoever hired me is scared for her."
He went quiet for a moment. In the silence, I could hear the house around him, that specific ambient quality that every recording from the address had, the feeling of too much space pressing in from all sides.
"Something happened to her in this house. I don't know what, but whoever's been here before me has been trying to figure it out, and I don't think they've gotten very far. And I'm sitting in this kitchen, and I have to tell you."
He stopped. "Mr. Garrity." Silence. "Mr. Garrity, are you still there?" His breathing had changed. Still audible, still there, but different now. Shorter. Shallower. Like something had shifted in his chest that he hadn't been expecting. When he spoke again, his voice had lost some of the composed quality it had carried through the whole call.
I don't feel right.
"Can you describe what you're feeling?"
My chest. I've had this before. It's my heart. I have a condition. I have medication in my trunk, but I didn't."
"Mr. Garrity, I need you to stay calm. We're 7 minutes away. Can you get outside?" The sound of him trying to stand, a chair scraping.
Yeah, I can get outside. I just need..."
His voice cut off mid-sentence. Not the line, his voice. The line was still open. I could hear the ambient hum of the house, the faint sound of the chair, the quality of a live connection with someone on the other end who was no longer speaking. "Mr. Garrity! Mr. Garrity, I need you to respond." The line stayed open for another 20 seconds. I counted them. 20 seconds of the house breathing into the phone. While I sat at my desk with the receiver against my ear and thought about a man sitting down at a kitchen table to wait for us, and then the line went dead. I was already putting my jacket on.